Anyway, you know how they married in the Bible? They arranged marriages. Sometimes with first cousins, by the way. Back then. So it's more recently, anyway, that first cousins and second cousins, at least, right, were told not to marry, right? Third cousins might be a little different, but again, it's got to be at least three. Usually. Like I said, I pretty much do all that growing up. And you try to play by the rules, right? Right. You know, unless you're being seduced reverse fashion, right? Or don't even remember that, by the way, right? That's what I'm talking about. If you're in one part of the house and your sister's in her room, you assume the door's locked and you don't even try to go in there, right? Right. Now the only thing that might can happen is the sister could sneak in there while you're asleep or something. Maybe. But then she would have to wake you up and you would have to explain to her why you're not supposed to do that. But then you gotta be honest that the Bible let Abraham and Sarah marry, but that too was a long time ago, right? So that's kind of how you gotta explain it, kind of contradictory, right? See, if Moses told the story of Abraham and Sarah anyway in the Torah, which are the 5 books of Moses, right? And where they get their Jewish law from anyway. They're like, people pointing out you're not following the law anymore. Except for maybe the 10 Commandments, right? And circumcision, right? But none of that means God ain't trying to save even the uncircumcised, for example. And some have a problem with him because they act like they're the chosen people or whatever of God, and only them, and only them. That's not arrogance, Jews, right? Okay, I don't know. I don't know. But guess what? Other people think they're the chosen people of God too. I know. So someone's lying to us. Unless God wants us all to be chosen, you know what I mean? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Right. Now, if you only see male and female, that's all you can assume the gods might be themselves. Unless there's a third gender you don't see as much. And guess what? There he is. Oh. See, if there's a third gender and it's the least in the population, that means the only way it can be introduced into the gene pool is sexually, right? So if normally we're male or female, and according to Moses too, the angels came down and tried to take a lot of women for themselves, right? Whoever they wanted. Right? That too causes a problem, for the men who are here too, right? Because then the angels are trying to steal their women, and then, right, you got to deal with that either way. So could that be why they were 2 floods 6,000 years apart? Now, what would Moses know about that? At least there was 1 flood, huh? Right, you see what I mean? Right. He wouldn't know about 2. No one would. But if they were 6,000 years apart or so, right, could that be how long the angels had, right? Because Satan, too, has something to do with the flood. if you read the Bible correctly, right? Or does it trace back all the way to, let's say, 2038, if you know what I mean, 238,000, right, years, right? Because, see, that's when man was more like a Neanderthal in Cro-Magnon. And guess what kind of skins they wore? Animal hide, right? Well, that's what the Lord made for Adam and Eve, were animal hide skins, and taught them how to do that. After the sin was Satan, right? No. What if it was 250,000 years ago? Jews or Christians, right? The Moses got it partially wrong. No, didn't he? Somewhat. All he's trying to do is talk about who the first two parents of the human race. And you understand, the male and female. Who procreated to make us all. Now you gotta procreate, though, male and female, to have sons or daughters, right? Now, the funny thing is, in Eden, they were married too. They became one flesh. But we don't know how long day 6 was, right? But if it was at least 1,000 years itself, right, you know what I mean, right? Or before the 250,000 years total, right? When man first came on the scene, if you will. It don't mean, again, right, the Bible's wrong or right or not a suggestion itself either, right? See, any religious book or text is an attempt to figure out why all human beings are what? The way they are. Jews, even some people like to think they're the only chosen people when they're not. And you seem arrogant when you do that. Sometimes you won't even let someone pour you a glass of soda, right, who's a Gentile and circumcised in a synagogue as a gesture of brotherly love. Why? Because I didn't touch the same soda bottle you're about to touch and, again, drink from yourself. The only difference is, right, you're acting like I can't pour you a glass of something to drink, right? When you gotta touch the same bottle to pour it out yourself. Hypocrite, right? That's what I mean. No. Some of your traditions are offensive. You understand? They are. Flat out. To other people. But instead of realizing that and getting with the times, right, you try to keep a 35,000-year-old, 100-year-old book that's got some good things in it, but also some inhuman or, not too friendly things in it too, right? You know what I mean? I know. But there again, those are also things Moses might have learned from both Egypt, right, and Israel. Because he's from two different cultures then. And then he went to Midian under Jethro, the priest of Midian, right? And married one of his daughters, Zipporah, who was also partially Ethiopian. Idiot, right? Some pretend Moses even had 2 wives, don't I know, but again. Or the priest of Midian had an Ethiopian wife. Dude, I know. And Moses' wife was half Ethiopian and half Midian. Everything of that. But that's what it means, right? sometimes you read so much into the Bible. Some people are pretending Moses even had 2 wives. So Zipporah is the only one mentioned. Now it was Miriam who mentioned with Aaron that he had married an Ethiopian woman, right? Now, no one didn't say her name wasn't Zipporah, by the way. Which is her name. But that could also mean Zipporah was at least half Ethiopian, right? And Midian, because her father, Jethro, was a Midianite, right? Which is a different race, too. But even back then, that shows interracial relationships were going on, by the way, right? Right. But they're both from the Arabic or the African area, right? Right. But again, people obviously, even Aaron and Miriam, had a problem with that. Yeah, no. Right. They're making something an issue that ain't really an issue sometimes, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. But the whole point is, like with the N-word or something, right? We've all heard the word, right, growing up. Either we heard it in movies or TV, or friends have used it around us, right? Now, if suddenly you want me to not say the word, and we all still know the word, even you know the word, I'm not trying to say anymore, right? But I've heard it before, right? So, not saying it anymore, right, is all I can do about it too, right? Or if I do refer to something like it, it's still not, again, right, the same way it was said, or used to be said, right? Nor the same way it was said to you, right? See, another thing is, if someone's using the word derogatory towards you, you're not going to like the word, huh? Right? Too much, right? If someone's saying F off all the time, right, that is using the word F off, right, as a F-U-C-K off, right, as a bad word, right? And you're telling the person to get away from you instead of using those terms, you're just saying F off, right? And that's offensive, right? That's actually using the word offensively, by the way, Christians, right? Not saying stop having sex, right? You can say that, right? Though, like I said, any word can be used positively or negatively, right? That's not the point either, right? I guess if you're just saying effing this or effing that, right, that could be something, right, derogatory, right? Or get your effing hands off my fucking this or whatever, right? It depends on, again, right, if the person forgives you as well. There you go. That's part of it too, right? We're not forgiving each other, though, our mistakes. Are we? Some people are pretending they're someone else. Oh, no. See, when you're pretending you're someone else, you're not really in that other person's shoes, right? You're acting out like you are, but you're not. That's another problem. No. Now, whoever this person is, they're on my butt pretty much after I post every time I post, right? Ain't that a bit overboard? Yeah. That's harassing behavior, right? I'm trying to talk about real life, and they're trying to act like I don't know nothing, or because I went disabled, I forgot everything I learned up to then, right? And that's not the case. I keep telling them that too. What, do you think I forgot everything I learned up until I started hearing voices? No. But hearing voices makes you mentally ill, right? Even if it's related to stress from your shipmates or your job or your church leaders, telling you can masturbate with one another. And act like they kind of wanted to. Yeah. I know. Which all you could do then is not go out to the apartments anymore or something. And stay away from them. Right. Exactly. Like I said, I did live with them in their apartments, but I don't think nothing happened of that nature. But I think I was having a wet dream one time. One of the guys tried to wake me up. I told you that too, right? In the bar. So now we don't arrange marriages. Even India, though, once had arranged marriages. Even Muslims have arranged marriages, right? Sometimes, right? So again, if we're trying to date randomly, which means you're trying to find someone around you to date you, right? That makes it a whole lot different. And again, you gotta wait for a female, like I told you, to show any interest in you, right? If they're not, they're just not, right? And then all you can do is, wait. Then you're acting like something's wrong with me waiting, or I like little girls, or that. No, I don't. I just can't find someone right now, right? That's the truth of the matter, right? Unless you're suggesting something else is happening. Though, like I said, I went to bed last night, again around 11, right? Got up around 6 or so, a little bit after, between 6 and 7, right? Went number 2, weighed myself. I'm down to 332 now. So my weight's going down again. And that's kind of the point, too. By the middle of the month, I should be back down to what I was again, right? Last month, right? And once I get to that weight, I pretty much stay that way, right? But that's still normal eating out versus, right? Eating in type reaction for my body, right? If you're eating a little bit more calories out than in, right? All you got to do to go back down is start eating less calories, right? So you gotta know that. But all it means is I'm staying the same right now. And everything's good as far as the medical side and the blood work and all that, right? I don't have diabetes, right? Or even pre-diabetes, right? Now, most people, I know, depending on their A1C, right, which is what it's rated by, right, if you're diabetic or not, right, usually it has to be above a certain number. But if it's like 5.3 and you're around 6, and yet on the damn commercial they talk about 0.71 or something, right, and you can get it below that, right, even, right. 6 ain't too bad either, right. So that is 0.7 tenths, whatever they're measuring it by. If it's the metric system or something, right. Higher than 5.3, right. Which is really where they want it, right. They guess, right. See, another thing is they got a theory about this particular problem people have called diabetes, right? And they develop this perfect number, if you will, to determine if you have it or not, right? I mean, guess what? The number's the same for anyone, or everyone. Exactly. I know. Whether you have it or not, I guess. If you don't, you're around 5.3 yourself. But if you start going higher, they start wanting to call you pre-diabetic, right? But you can still do something about it. Now, type 1 diabetes you have, which has to do with insulin, right, in your body and how your body breaks down sugar, right? Well, again, right, I learned this from any medical book, right, that talks about diabetes, right? You can even learn about it online, right? And see, I ain't gotta, if it's kind of common knowledge now, and they're doing commercials about it now, yeah, that's right. I'm just talking about it, right? Under fair use. See, fair use is something, because it's an illness we can all have, right? Talk about. You can't copyright that. You know what I mean, right? You can't say, oh, only I can talk about it. Only I can copyright it. No, no. If it's something we can all have, we can all talk about it, right? That's called common knowledge, or common things we can all talk about, right? Water cooler, right? The things you talk about at the water cooler, right? Or just publicly, right? That are common things, right? Now, like on Law and Order last night, one of the episodes had to do with drugs, right? And not over-the-counter drugs, but doctor-prescribed drugs that someone was taking from the homes, right? And using themselves, right? As well. And among them was oxycodone, or, again, tramadol. Which we both heard of those, right? I myself take tramadol. But it don't mean, right? If I know about the drugs, right? Though 2 others they mentioned I wasn't as familiar with, for example, right? But 2 I was, right? So this is making that a conversation at the water cooler, with YouTube being the water cooler. Yeah, no. Right. You act like I'm not talking to no one, but when you come to my channel, you're the one I'm talking to, right? Even if you're not listening to what I'm saying, right? You just became my audience, by the way. Silly. Are you that out of it? No, really. Yourself? That you can't realize you just became my audience by commenting, right? And you're commenting because something bothers you that I'm saying, that you heard about I was saying, right? But I done looked into it, so I know it's real. What you mean is you don't want to deal with it. You ain't got to deal with it. And you don't even want to hear about it. Why you even think I care? Why you even think I care? If I done found out about it and I already know it's real, right? And you're denying it, that's all you're doing. I'm trying to tell you anyway. I know. Now, after that, it's between you and God if I'm telling the truth and you're still lying about it, right? I'm not here to condemn you, but I am here to tell the truth to the best of my knowledge and ability, right? And belief. That's all you can do, is try to tell the truth, right? Well, there's a third gender, right? But they're born 1 in 100,000, right? In the whole population. That means they're a rare birth, right? So that means in a million population, only 10 people might be born with these genes, right? Right. And even at 8 billion, right? That's about 8,000, right? But that's still a lot of people. But at the same time, right, it's also normally male or female. So like I said, when you're trying to work with someone, you understand where they're at, but they got to understand where you're at. But all you can do is tell them, right? Even if they don't want to hear it, right? And by coming to my channel, all you're telling me is, I don't want to hear that. But I ain't telling you to tell you whether you want to know or not either. I'm telling you because I found out, and you just saying I don't want to deal with it, and I'm like, well, why'd you tell me for, right? All I can do is tell you anyway, and I done told you, right? Once I tell you, that's all I can do about it, right? Whether you like it or not. And this is supposed to be trying to be sensible again, which is part of rehabilitation if you haven't been to this, right? Now, if I work out or not, or my butt's hurting right now, or my ankle's hurting, because I had breakfast or something, or whatever the reason, right? I'm still dealing with side effects from the 3-story fall. And I keep telling you that every day too, right? And how I'm dealing with it is by singing songs and trying to stay positive during the day, right? Songs I learned on the radio. Another reason I'm doing that is fair use. It's fair use. Again. Alright, so another long talkative video that you probably won't watch till the end or really listen to, or again, you confuse martial arts training with me actually beating women. Those are two different things. The woman I hit was, or the teenage girl actually, and I was a teenage boy, right? But the person I hit was also taking martial arts and wanted to learn to fight, right? Now, if I gave her a black eye accidentally, it was only one time. I didn't keep hitting her. I didn't keep beating her up. And I didn't do it to beat her up. It was one punch correctly thrown, right, that she didn't block in time, right, that hit her in the eye. But at the same time, right, I didn't keep, hitting her either, right, with just one punch, and called a jab. That's not beating your wife. That's not beating your wife. I never beat Daphne either, right? Though she tried to beat me once, and I told you about all that, right? And see, either you are a doctor or you're pretending you're a doctor. Either you are a lawyer or you're pretending you're a lawyer, right? See, a lawyer went to school for all that. And that's why I say I'm just an E3 from the military, which is what I am, and a disabled veteran now. That's all I am. That's all I was. That's all I made it to. And I did have to drop out of an academy for medical stuff, right? Well, I made it through almost the whole course, but I couldn't do the externship, right? So I got a 3.1 grade point average, or whatever it was, 3.6 grade point average, right? As a final grade, for the, educational part of the class, right? Which is why the class takes 1.5 to 2 years to take, right? So that does give me college education, or medical knowledge, right? Of a 2-year school, right? I know. But like I said, most people, cram when they're going to school. You cram all that information into you. Yeah. If you don't keep it up, you can forget it too, right? Again. We're talking about common knowledge too versus learning something from an academy or a school or a medical academy, right. And that's also considered a college course or a university course, right? As well. Just a medical academy instead of a university or a, college, right? Anyway, y'all have a good day.